This story is about Hunter Boy, who disguised himself as a small dog in order to trick Deer Farmer and free the deer from a canyon where they were kept by Deer Farmer so that the Dene could have game for hunting. There were several hunters from different tribes in the area. They were Puma, Wolf, Lynx, and Coyote. They wore beautiful robes from the animals from which they had killed. Very important to know that they did not kill wantonly, nor did they kill the young or hunt during mating season. They made sure that every part was used of the animals that they killed. They knew it was important to ensure their rebirth and the availability of game for the Dene. When they went on their hunting trips, they took along with them Magpie and his wife to help them. They knew that they could spot the game and alert them so that they would be ready. Now, Coyote had seen Deer Farmer's home. It was had a deer hide covering the doorway. And so he wanted to visit Deer Farmer's home. Deer Farmer, who wore a cape of deerskin, was a great yay. He had the ability to turn into a coyote or into a snake or to a deer. He was in charge of all game animals: deer, antelope, elk, mountain sheep, and other game animals. He had herded them into a deep crater on a mountaintop where there was water and grass for grazing. He built a wall and he blocked the entry with a rock which no person could move. Deer Farmer had a magic cane of turquoise and flint. He would use this to open the stone door by tapping on it 4 times. Coyote told Hunter Boy to disguise himself as a small white dog so that he could go to Deer Farmer's home. Pet Crow carried the small white dog to Hunter's home. As he carried Hunter Boy, who was now disguised as the small white dog, he went under Rainbow Bridge 4 times before he commenced his journey to Deer Farmer's home. The daughter thought this white dog was very cute, and she took him in and she wanted him for a pet. Deer Farmer was not happy about this plan, but as the daughter was now an adult and Deer Farmer's wife hoped that she would stay home, they allowed her to keep the white dog as a pet. Deer Farmer's wife and daughter wore deer hides from the deer that Deer Farmer killed for the family. Again, he did not kill wantonly, nor did he kill the young, nor did he kill during mating season. He only killed as was necessary for the family. The small white dog was afraid of Deer Farmer because he knew Deer Farmer did not like him, and he was afraid that Deer Farmer might kill him. And so, instead of sleeping inside at night, he slept on the rooftop. But Deer Farmer slept on robes beneath the opening to the roof so that he could keep an eye out on the white dog. As the family was out of deer meat, they needed to go hunting. When they went hunting, they would disguise themselves as deer, wearing antlers and hides over their shoulders, and they would paint their bodies white. Birds served as guards to the hidden canyon leading to the mountain where Deer Farmer kept the game animals. There were 2 bluebirds who whistled as Deer Farmer approached, and he would tell them to be silent. There were 2 red-headed peckers who would start drumming as the Deer Farmer and his family came to the canyon, and he would tell them to be silent. There were 2 hummingbirds who also would fly about to warn anyone as they were approaching the canyon. But as Deer Farmer told them to fly away, they did. Deer Farmer would take his magic cane and strike the slab 4 times so that they could enter, and he would call out the deer. Again, they would only hunt as necessary for needs for the family. Now then, the white dog, Coyote, was having a hard time leaving Deer family's home. The daughter was very attached to him, and the family was around all the time, so it was very difficult to escape, even though he now knew where the magic cane was kept and how to hit upon the slab 4 times to enter the canyon that led to the mountaintop where the deer were kept. And so he had to think of a plan to be able to leave and to not incur the wrath of Deer Farmer, who might kill him. He only liked to eat deer meat, and this annoyed Deer Farmer and Deer Farmer's wife. He didn't want to eat cornmeal mush or porridge or other food. He only wanted the deer fat, which he really liked. Now then, the pet crow came up with a plan to help Coyote, who was disguised as a small dog, to be able to leave Deer Farmer's home. He gave some opiate dust, some marsh dust, to Whippoorwill to put down the chimney of Deer Farmer's home, so that Deer Farmer and his wife and his daughter would fall asleep. And while they were asleep, the little white dog could be carried off by his pet crow. Now then, the dust was sprinkled into the chimney. Deer Farmer and his daughter fell asleep, But Deer Farmer's wife did not, because she had her robe covering her face, and she did not smell the opiate dust. She heard Pet Crow and the small deer leaving, and she tried to wake up Deer Farmer, but she could not, because he was deep asleep. And so the Pet Crow was able to carry the small dog back to the Navajo land. He flew under the Rainbow Bridge again 4 times as he carried them back. When Deer Farmer woke up, he was angry at his daughter, but his wife said there was no need to scold. It would change nothing at all. And so it was important to just accept what had occurred. And so now the game were loose because Coyote had tapped on the slab 4 times and released them. The Dene had deer for hunting. And again, they didn't kill wantonly or kill the young or kill during mating season. They would bury the entrails in the deer hide so that they would be able to be reborn. And this was a very important part of the hunting ceremony to ensure that they would be reborn. Again, they would bury the entrails within the deer skin. The Dene used the deerskin robes. They used the food. They used the sinew for bones. They used the bones for implements and other owls. And I remember a story my father had told me about Manuelito and his warriors during the Navajo-American War. They were hunted for 8 years, and after 6 years they finally surrendered. And when they surrendered, they had no more bows and arrows. They had not had any deer sinew for the arrows and for the bows, and so they had not been able to make any. So I know that the deer sinew was very, very important to the Dene and to their needs for hunting, and also later in their war